This is Mass Wealth Radio with Jake Lowry and Phil Graham. I'm Bruce Steinbrock. Jake has 3 locations to serve you with Mass Wealth Radio. The main office, Derby Street in Hingham. Satellite offices in Waltham on Wyman Street. And in the Cummings Center in Beverly. You can reach Jake and the team at 855-318-8387 on the web. It's masswealthradio.com. Jake's been published in Fox Business, Forbes Magazine, and Financial Advisor Magazine. Well, nearly 70% of retirees will need some type of long-term care. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, it's not a sure thing, but chances are you and your spouse will need some type of long-term care, nursing care of some sort during your retirement. Now, while costs vary by location, the median cost of a private room in a nursing home nationwide is right at $100,000. In Massachusetts, I looked this up on the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It's closer to $165,000, and that's per year. So if you think you've got $1 million saved for retirement, it's gone like that if you aren't prepared and planned. So, people need to realize that long-term care is not a cheap thing, and it's not covered by Medicare. And this is the conversations that they sit down and have with you guys.
Well, I think the 165,000 is entry level. Because I meet with, I'd say 3 to 5 clients a month that are in this situation, and it's always 200,000 or greater.
Yeah. So think about that. 200,000 times 3 years is 600 grand. Bam, gone.
Well, plus the spouse that's not in the facility still has their own living expenses. It's not like that's the only expense. So you have your normal living expenses plus that on top of it.
Right. We have a strategy in place for that in a crisis situation. When you have a husband and wife, the law reads that the healthy spouse can protect their home as long as they're living in it and $130,000 of liquid assets. So if we have $1 million, 870 is subject to the cost of care, 250 a year. We can bring that asset over, that $870,000. We can bring that asset over in a crisis, bring it back over to the healthy spouse. Bring it back over to the healthy spouse. So that asset is back over at the healthy spouse. We have to show this. We're not hiding anything either. We have to fully disclose this to Medicaid. And in a situation where the spouse that needs care is in skilled nursing, we can help them to qualify for Medicaid so that the healthy spouse doesn't go impoverished paying for those high expenses.
But if you don't know about these things, Jake, they just pass you by. That's why people need to reach out and get help.
Yeah, I see it all the time. You have families that come to me and, we met with, a couple of attorneys, a couple of financial advisors. They didn't know anything about this type of plan. I like finding those niches in the industry that I can really assist families.
But that's your experience that has taught you all of this.
And Jake, that's what we call crisis planning, right? Like the house is already on fire and you're trying to get homeowners insurance.
Yeah. Right.
Ideally,
we don't want to.
You've planned ahead before you're in the facility and put an even better plan in place. But this is kind of like 911.
Yeah.
The house is on fire and you're coming in to save the day. But it's even better if you've planned before you need it.
So how do you think those conversations are going? Because of my experience, which has created the wisdom, I've been in the assisted living community, seen, families out of money. I've seen the crisis situations multiple times where people are flying by the seat of their pants. So when I'm sitting in front of a 65-year-old, I'm able to relay that message that we need this, that this is a part of the plan. Right. And you're gonna thank me a million times over if, God forbid, you need to go in that direction. You need that level of care. But we implement that into our process so that if those unexpected costs arrive, we are prepared and you're not stressing out regarding your finances when you're in need of care, because that's just an awful position to be in.
And ideally, nobody wants to be in a Medicaid facility as a ward of the state with whatever open bed is around.
Right.
They want to be in a private room, close to home, and you got to plan ahead for that. Otherwise, yeah, Medicaid, we can protect your assets, but that's probably not where you want to be.
No. Yeah, private paying so that you can stay at your home. If you want to go to an assisted living community, you can. I mean, assisted living communities are, in my opinion, nice. It's like it's living in a country club. If I was alone and I didn't want to be a burden to my kids, I'd go to an assisted living community. I have no desire to go to a skilled nursing facility, right? Because that's a hospital setting. So nevertheless, planning ahead of time, getting the information, the knowledge, it's going to give you the power and it's going to give you the confidence you need in your plan, having a well-written plan. The number you can reach me at for a no cost, no hassle consultation, giving this education back to you, sitting down one-on-one, having an open dialogue and discussing these matters. The number is 855-318-8387. Again, 855-318-8387, or you can look us up online at masswealthradio.com.
And when you're on masswealthradio.com, you can also schedule that meeting with Jake and the Mass Wealth Radio team. All you have to do is input your name, your email address, your phone number, and intake specialist, James Jimmy Sullivan Jr., will get a hold of you and set that appointment up, and you can start your very own personalized financial freedom analysis with Jake and the Mass Wealth Radio team. Again, the number 855-318-8387. All right, guys. So standalone long-term care policy used to be kind of the only way that people took care of this. So what are some options today, and what is the ideal time to start preparing for long-term care needs?
I mean, the standalone plans are almost gone completely as far as
which is
insurance companies offering them. Yeah. So if they're still around, their premiums are going up every year. It's out of control, or carriers have pulled completely out of the marketplace. The asset-based long-term care, where, I guess big picture is you got a little skin in the game where you put a little bit of your money in. They're leveraging that. You spend your money first, and then if you spend all that little bit of money that you've put into the plan, there's either 5 times, 7 times, 10 times, or lifetimes worth of benefits from that. That's a far better way to go, because like Jake said, if you live, you still get access to the money. If you die and never spend it, your family's going to get most of the time a tax-free benefit from that. So that's the whole industry has gone that direction, because it's just a better vehicle, better tool to solve the problem.
Well, let's face it, transfer of wealth from one generation to the next. Nobody sat in a room and said, yeah, I want to pass a majority of my assets on to the government, because I know that they'll use it for great things. I mean, you want to pass it on to the next generation, or those who, you leave behind, a spouse, your children, grandchildren, because you want them to benefit from what you did during your life. And maybe, your life gets cut short because of a catastrophic illness. Jake, I don't know anybody ever said, yeah, go ahead and sign that over to the government. That'll be great.
Yeah, that doesn't come up. That doesn't come up. We're strategizing to keep the money in your pocket,
but also thinking of doing it in a tax-free manner. I mean,
right?
It takes strategy, it takes time, it takes planning, and that's what's so key about just sitting down and having these conversations now before you even get to this situation.
So Phil and I mean, we think outside the box. We want to make sure that we're maximizing our clients' opportunities. So asset-based long-term care. All right, for long-term care. Within that plan, because we're leveraging life insurance, we can actually create tax-free growth in tax-free income in retirement. And we have the long-term care down the road if we need it. And the affluent have been hedging life insurance for tax-free benefits for years, millions of dollars into these plans to create a tax shelter. And the IRS is okay with it as long as we have a level of death benefit that they can justify, because we are hedging the life insurance. So we have that death benefit value. And at first I was like, death benefit value, that's after we pass. Well, they went an extra mile and said, okay, well, you know what? We'll allow you to use a percentage, 80, 90% of your death benefit value should you need long-term care in the future. And that for me, I partake in this program. I partake in this program, right? It's another leg on my stool. It's another leg on my stool for retirement, creating tax-free growth, tax-free income. And God forbid I need long-term care in the future. I know it's there. I know it's available to me.
And that's the great thing, Jake, is and Phil, is sitting down and having these conversations. And I'm sure you've seen light bulbs go on with people who are like, holy cow, this is awesome. I can actually do this by sitting down and coming up with a financial freedom analysis.
Right. And I'm practicing what I preach.
Yeah, you said you're participating in it.
Yeah, I'm practicing what I preach with that particular plan, because I know that tax-free growth, tax-free income, and long-term care, in my opinion, are necessities going forward.
Yeah, sign me up.
Sign me up.
Phil, do you want some tax-free growth and tax-free income?
Yeah, when someone says, well, what tax bracket do you want to be in? People are like, the lowest. I'm like, no, I want to be in zero.
Right,
that's
zero.
That's the right answer, is zero, not the lowest, zero tax. That's the
zero
best
is
tax.
a powerful number, okay? Zero is a powerful number.
Yeah, one's the loneliest number, but zero is powerful.
Yes.
The power, there's actually a book, The
Yes.
Power of Zero.
Yeah.
Phil can tell you all about the tax trade and everything.
Yeah.
And Jake, even a simpler, when we talk about our paycheck programs, a lot of the paycheck programs now, if you can't perform a certain number of activities of daily living, or you're confined to an assisted living or nursing home, we can double your paycheck for a certain period of time to help offset those additional costs as well. So again, there's a lot of different ways we can cover this healthcare risk, but it's all part of the plan, and that plan is different and customized for everybody we meet with.
Jake, let's put James Jimmy Sullivan Jr. to work. Yeah.
All you have to do is be proactive. Give my office a call. Speak to James Jimmy Sullivan Jr. Start your intake process. We'll analyze what you have, fully disclose what you currently have. It's very significant for you, and it's just as significant to me, so that I know when we're taking that and creating our plan, that we are creating a better opportunity for you in this chapter of life. The number you can reach me at is 855-318-8387. Again, 855-318-8387, or you can look us up online at masswealthradio.com. We'll be right back with Mass Wealth Radio, creating financial freedom for my friends of New England.